Saying so, 50, I'm coming for your ass, bruh.
Gays, and they're gays and lesbians and bisexuals in hip hop. Because not all of them are gay. Some of them do like women, but they get freaky.
That's why I don't be going to them puffy parties. They can hug you from the front and the back at the same time. What you talking about? Look, if you're into that, I'm fine with it. To each his own. I'm just saying this ain't my motherfucking kind of party.
In particular, Netflix docuseries that you've been working on, Diddy Do It.
Right.
You've been saying for years that you feel you knew Diddy's character.
Welcome back to Fame Flux, where the truth behind fame gets exposed. 50 Cent has just dropped a seismic revelation on the industry, one that includes footage, names, and undeniable faces. The video he released allegedly features Diddy, his rumored transgender former partner, and Busta Rhymes positioned front and center, suggesting a level of involvement far beyond passive attendance. This isn't merely about private celebrity parties anymore. Insider accounts now claim that Busta Rhymes wasn't just a guest. He was reportedly helping host these exclusive events and allegedly shared the same fan with Diddy in private. What takes this even deeper is the involvement of Tony Newman, a well-known transgender advocate and former adult performer who has stepped forward publicly. In court documents and interviews, she's accused a roster of industry legends, not only Diddy but also figures like Mr. C and LL Cool J, of engaging in a hidden world of underground gatherings, secret arrangements, and long-standing industry cover-ups. 50 Cent, never one to remain silent during a media storm, has fanned the flames with bold allegations and previewed receipts.
That's why I don't be going to them puffy parties. They can hug you from the front and the back at the same time. What you talking about? Look, if you're into that, I'm fine with it. To each his own. I'm just saying this ain't my motherfucking kind of party.
He's not just talking, he's leaking footage, sharing testimonies, and teasing more to come in his highly anticipated Did He Do It documentary. As each frame of the leaked video circulates, the picture becomes clearer. This might only be the beginning of a wider unraveling. With Busta Rhymes now drawn into the spotlight, the narrative has officially shifted. The silence has been broken. Now the industry watches and waits. Now everything begins to fall into place. For years, 50 Cent has publicly stated that he avoids Diddy's infamous parties.
It's extremely sensitive, and I think that people don't keep in mind the effect of what their opinion can have. And I think it's really, really important that we reserve our opinions until we understand what the undisputed truth is, because an opinion can detrimentally affect someone.
His reasons, once dismissed as casual trolling or comedic jabs, now carry much more weight. Through cryptic jokes about suspicious party invitations, subtle shade about after-party atmospheres, and side comments about certain industry friendships, 50 may have been warning the public all along. Now, with leaked footage and mounting allegations, those past warnings no longer sound like jokes. And Busta Rhymes isn't walking away untouched either. 50 has been mocking him for years, poking fun at his leather-clad fashion, the over-the-top workout videos, and even the intense energy behind his Touch It era. Back then, these jabs were brushed off as typical rap banter. But today, in the context of exposed footage and confessions, those moments feel like calculated commentary. When Busta responded, calling it all friendly sparring, the industry moved on.
But 50 also know I'm not gonna stop. The same way he not gonna stop, I'm not gonna stop. We both come from a family called Violator family, so we ain't got no problem violating.
But that moment when he threatened to come for 50 Cent's people is now being re-examined with a very different lens, especially as more voices join the conversation, including Tony Newman. Tony Newman, a former transgender escort, author, and activist, has spent years calling out what she claims is a deeply hidden side of the entertainment industry. According to Newman, major hip-hop figures have long lived double lives. She asserts that former Bad Boy insiders confirmed Diddy's alleged bisexuality and detailed a network of secret relationships with both men and women, hidden carefully behind closed doors. That phrase Tony Newman used, "do the math," suddenly hits different. When you piece it all together, Diddy's long history, Busta Rhymes' tight alliance with him, and their consistent proximity over the years, the puzzle starts forming a clearer picture. Especially when you remember that Busta Rhymes publicly defended Diddy when the Cassie assault footage went viral, downplaying the video and urging people not to rush to judgment. That level of loyalty now raises more questions than ever. But the revelations didn't end with Diddy. Tony Newman claims she also had a one-night encounter with LL Cool J during her time working in New York City. According to her, LL knew her identity as a trans escort, paid for the night, and moved on without confusion or hesitation. However, once she began speaking publicly about her experiences, LL's team allegedly went into crisis mode. Tony asserts that cease and desist letters were sent to her management, warning her to stop using his name and threatening legal action if she didn't comply. And it gets even deeper. Newman claims that both Diddy and Busta Rhymes tried the same tactic. Allegedly, both reached out with similar threats to keep her quiet after she began sharing what she had witnessed firsthand. These weren't vague warnings. They were allegedly attempts to silence information that could shake the foundations of the industry. The lengths to which this circle may have gone to protect their secrets are staggering. Consider the Cassie Hotel incident. When that footage of Diddy assaulting her was first uncovered, reports surfaced claiming that Diddy paid $50,000 to hotel staff in an attempt to bury the evidence. It all paints a chilling picture of an industry willing to spend big and play dirty to control the narrative. If hush money was paid to bury the Cassie video, one can only imagine what else has been covered up behind closed doors. Tony Newman further claimed that one of Biggie Smalls' closest friends was openly gay, a fact that was never publicly acknowledged, allegedly shielded by an industry built on silence and selective protection. These narratives align with long-standing rumors that hip-hop's biggest names have maintained double lives shielded by influence, wealth, and strategic PR. This brings fresh weight to comments made by Nicki Minaj years ago, when she mentioned the existence of undercover brothers.
She sent another cease and desist letter second time, Martin Sr., on behalf of LL Cool J, to my whole team again after I did the New York interview.
In the rap game. At the time, her statement was cryptic, but in light of these revelations, it takes on new meaning. It wasn't about criminality, it was about identity. She was implying that some major figures in hip-hop were secretly attracted to men, choosing to hide that truth behind bravado and mainstream personas. Now turning back to the party circuit, sources allege Busta Rhymes wasn't merely a guest at Diddy's private events. He was a regular host. Multiple insiders have stated that Busta didn't just show up. He actively curated who got in and what went down. And the guest list reportedly wasn't filled with Instagram models or typical partygoers. Instead, it's claimed he consistently preferred inviting young men. One of the more vocal sources confirming these claims is Big Homie Double C, a figure known in certain industry security circles. According to him, Busta made unusual requests inside exclusive venues, not for drinks or VIP perks, but for specific types of guests. Young men, specifically, were allegedly brought into Busta's section at his request, raising serious questions about what was happening away from the public eye. With the mounting allegations, those old rumors about Busta Rhymes allegedly sharing his hand-picked fanboys with Diddy have started to gain traction. These weren't believed to be random attendees. They were reportedly selected with intention, pre-approved, and allegedly treated less like guests and more like party favors passed from one host to another. This pattern feeds directly into long whispered claims within the industry, which are now being reevaluated with fresh scrutiny. This leads to someone whose name has hovered on the margins of these conversations for years: Orlando Brown. While his public statements have often been dismissed due to their erratic delivery, there is now a growing reconsideration of his past remarks. Despite the chaos surrounding him, some observers now argue that Brown may have been pointing to real dynamics hidden behind the industry's polished exterior. Years ago, Orlando Brown claimed that he had been intimately involved with Busta Rhymes. At the time, his claims were widely dismissed as part of a spiral.
Do you think it's a lot of undercover brothers in the industry?
Oh no, Queen. We don't know nothing about undercovers. Oh no.
Clout chasing or mental instability. But in 2024, amid testimony from former escorts, leaked videos, and first-hand insider accounts, those same claims are resurfacing under a different light. Now, a new theory is being entertained, that Orlando Brown may not have been lying, but rather revealing truths the industry wasn't ready to face. Some now believe that he may have been one of the young men allegedly invited into these exclusive parties, brought in through Diddy's network, circulated among VIPs, and allegedly handed off to others in attendance, including Busta Rhymes. His past interviews, once seen as incoherent, are being reanalyzed for what they might actually reveal. And what once sounded unhinged is now being viewed by some as the early warning signs of a story the public is only just beginning to understand. This wasn't presented as a casual encounter. Orlando Brown has repeatedly implied that what happened to him was deeper, suggesting he was used, passed around, and possibly exposed to dark, coordinated behavior within the industry. If these claims hold any weight, they reveal a disturbing undercurrent beneath hip-hop's public image. And that's what makes Busta Rhymes' public reactions over the years even more striking.
Worked for Bad Boy, who now departed. Gays who were in Bad Boy, who have in fact told that he likes women, so he would have, in fact, have to be bisexual. I've heard Sean Combs is in fact bisexual.
For someone allegedly tied to such secretive encounters, he's consistently been vocal when conversations turn towards sexuality. In 2006, Busta was accused of using a homophobic slur against a fan at a New York bar. A year later, in 2007, he stormed out of a radio interview when asked about homophobia in hip-hop. It wasn't a heated debate, he simply walked out. At the time, the reaction was puzzling. But with today's revelations, those moments are being re-examined under a new lens. The intensity of his response, cutting off dialogue and exiting the conversation entirely, now seems less like general discomfort and more like a defensive posture in the face of underlying truths. This only deepens suspicions around the broader network being exposed. And then there's the matter of the alleged recordings. Rumors have circulated for years about footage from Diddy's infamous private events, recordings allegedly showing A-list names in highly compromising scenarios. According to whispers from industry insiders, these videos were being sold on the dark web, hidden from public view, but never truly gone. And here's where the theory sharpens. 50 Cent, known for his relentless takedowns, is rumored to have obtained some of those tapes. Word is, he may be holding on to them, waiting for the right time to strike, possibly tying them into his upcoming expose-style documentary. If that footage exists, and if 50 has it, the narrative around these names, Busta, Diddy, and others, could shift dramatically.
And I've just announced about 2 people who me and my female escort friend, Mistress Carmen, saw as a team. I work with the female, an Asian girl.
What's been whispered for years could soon be confirmed in high definition. There may be a much larger strategy behind everything currently unfolding. That's because 50 Cent is executive producing a full-scale expose documentary titled Did He Do It?, focused entirely on Sean Diddy Combs. According to insiders, the rights have already been sold to Netflix, and the release date is being carefully aligned to follow the conclusion of Diddy's upcoming criminal trial. Sources suggest that the documentary will feature not only witness statements and financial records, but potentially explosive video footage, clips long rumored to exist, but never publicly confirmed. One such clip now circulating shows one of Diddy's infamous celebrity-packed parties, where the camera doesn't just pan the crowd, it clearly captures faces, movements, and behavior that had previously only lived in whispers. If these tapes are indeed part of the documentary, or even official court evidence, it would explain why some artists have gone completely silent while others appear to be scrambling in the background. The industry tension is rising, and eyes are on every move being made. One particular moment that's drawing renewed attention is a viral clip featuring Busta Rhymes, Diddy, and rapper Coi Leray seated at what appeared to be a relaxed industry dinner. At first glance, the setting seemed innocent, until Busta placed his hand on Diddy's shoulder, nodding toward Coi with a subtle but noticeable gesture. Diddy smiled, Coi Leray's expression shifted, and body language analysts across the internet began dissecting every second. Fans immediately drew comparisons between that clip and past claims that Busta had previously passed young men to Diddy in VIP clubs. The suggestion now was that similar behavior may have extended beyond just male partygoers. Whether misinterpreted or not, the timing of the footage and the surrounding context made the moment deeply uncomfortable to watch. And this isn't the only Busta-related clip making rounds. An older video featuring Busta Rhymes and singer Jeremy has also resurfaced, one that had already sparked speculation in earlier months. These small moments, when added together, create a portrait of industry dynamics that many feel are no longer just conspiratorial. They may be foundational to what's finally being exposed. With the documentary release approaching and more clips emerging each week, the narrative is becoming harder to ignore. The footage speaks louder than rumors, and 50 Cent appears determined to let the images speak for themselves. As the wave of allegations continues crashing through hip-hop, one detail stands out louder than all the rest: Busta Rhymes' silence. Despite being caught in the crossfire of multiple rumors, viral videos, and direct accusations from insiders and witnesses, Busta has remained publicly mute. No statement, no denial, no clarification. This silence is being interpreted in two ways. Some believe it's strategic, advised by legal counsel to say nothing as investigations and court cases unfold. Others see it as confirmation. In an industry where public image means everything, the absence of a response in the face of such intense scrutiny only raises more questions. What makes this even more concerning is the pattern of how the industry reacts. It's not just about one artist's behavior, it's about how others enable it. From handlers to managers, publicists to platform owners, a large portion of the hip-hop ecosystem has turned a blind eye to powerful figures accused of disturbing conduct. Insiders have long whispered about an unspoken code in the industry: protect the big names at all costs, maintain access, preserve alliances, and never speak on what happens behind velvet ropes. But that code is starting to break. With lawsuits now public, footage circulating, and platforms like Netflix and YouTube giving voice to victims and whistleblowers, silence is no longer enough. Busta's interaction with Jeremy might have seemed playful to some, but the body language said otherwise. Jeremy appeared visibly uncomfortable as Busta leaned in to sniff him, awkwardly brushing it off with a nervous smile. In isolation, it might have passed as eccentric behavior. But in light of all the leaked footage, testimonies, and mounting allegations, fans are looking at every interaction differently. Now fast forward to today. Weeks have passed since Diddy's legal battle officially hit the courtroom, and Busta Rhymes has gone completely dark.